Good morning. It's paint time. I spent time drinking my coffee and not getting my palette ready. So it's here in the way. Also, look how pretty it looks. All our same colors. This is isolation coat. I have this tiny little cup, which is at my sink, and I pour isolation into it, and then before I do it again for the next time, I let it dry out so that I can peel it out and take all of the dust particles with it, and then I have this nice pristine cup to pour more in it next time. So this is what isolation coat looks like. Like, it's just pure clear. And when it gets a bit thicker, it gets cloudy where it's thicker, but I don't paint it on that thick. Because you can see the perfect cup imprint of where I peeled it up. Anyway, that's that. Forbidden plastic. Is it that? No, I was gonna say, I thought I had some here, but it must be. I don't keep it with my normal paint. So we got into a good groove last time, and I was liking what was happening, and we're gonna continue that. So we're gonna paint down here, and then we're gonna circle back up. Am I excited for the parade tomorrow? Yup. They're like, please find alternate modes of transportation to get there. Consider buses, bikes. And I was like, in a way I'm biking. What I'm really doing is I'm going early, parking my car, biking, and then I'll be driving my car out of there. Bike with the parade. Just carry that Stanley Cup on my shoulder. Just hiding your car. I do have secret parking space. Yeah, city gonna be busy. They said some number on the news about how many people they're expecting. But I'm getting there early enough, I suppose I could park basically wherever I want. But if I park where I'm going to be parking, I get to leave early and not get stuck in all the crazy traffic. So that's kind of the plan. I thought you were talking about Pride Parade. I mean, there's that too in Raleigh. I forget what weekend that is. Maybe it already happened. Forget. I was downtown and they're always doing some sort of like festival something on Fayetteville Street. And I saw a bunch of tents, and it might have been Pride weekend, like when they were celebrating it, but it may have been something else, and Pride may have been a different weekend in June. I don't know. There's always a lot going on downtown. All right, let me unlock the iPad so I can look at the photo. I'm really glad my manicure is lasting. I just need it to last one more day, and then I can take it off. All right, let's scroll down there. All right, we have some tans. I know I have to read alerts yet. How do I want to do that? What would complement these nicely? Hansa? I have Hansa out. I do like Hansa. Ochre? Oh, it's so ochre. Yeah. Yellow ochre. All right, we have a 37-month resub from JetJet, 37 from Anise, 24 from Fire Goddess, who says 24? Yeah, it's 24. Thank you for hitting 2 years. And we also have 10 months from Dragonstorm. Thanks everyone for the resubs this morning. We finally got rain in Raleigh last night from this morning. Last night, both. We need more. We need so much more water. Chess says I ran in the rain. Beautiful. I bet that was really lovely. All right. I'm just mentally getting back into what I need to do for this. Okay. I should probably clean off the palette because anything that's dried and does come off of the glass will just be a chunk of dried paint. And that would be bad because then I'll be fighting all of these little dried chunks of paint as I'm trying to paint. Rita Dread. I love the mug. Where could one get such a spiffy thing? Maybe a mod could post the link for it, because I don't know it offhand. This mug is on stevenshop.com. My hand's in the way. There. But there is a new painting out. I need to talk about it at the end of the stream and grab the painting. The sapling piece is up right now. So there's merch of that on Redbubble. And the actual painting is still up till next Friday. And boy, did I have a time trying to get that eBay listing up. It involved a call to eBay and What do you mean? No. I did not break policy. I was not trying to get people to buy the actual canvas off of eBay. Apparently you're not allowed to use links anymore to product videos on eBay listings. Anyway, we fixed that, and then I had to relist it. I need to ask Steven to bring me water. Can you please bring me water? There's some on my nightstand. Thanks. Yeah, apparently if you do an eBay listing and you put a link to a video in the listing as an embedded link, it flags it as fraudulent. Didn't love that. Didn't know that until after I listed it. It's new policy. They tried to tell me it was old policy, and I was like, no. It's fine. We know going forward. Until their AI system finds out that some other thing is probably... Alright, I have titanium white. We need umber. We need our greens, and then we need ochre. And I think I was using a little bit of red because the greens were too saturated. Where is that red? You're not red, you're sap green. You're burnt umber. What red was I using? I just heard the ice maker. This is a good sign. I'm gonna guess I was using Pyrrole because it is standing higher in the stack of red colors, which means I've probably grabbed it most recently. It's such a good red, it's so bright. Water, thank you. I'll trade you. Water.
You have 2 coffee cups?
One was from last week.
Oh.
Thank you, bye. All right, we have all of our paints. Need some glazing liquid. And we are set. That's a cute cup. Thank you. Someone sent this in mail. It's very cute. How have all the Canes festivities been going? I've been watching on Instagram. And I have a friend who's really, really invested in this. And he knows everyone in the city. And he has been like getting people to text him when they know Hurricanes players are going to be places. So like he's met like 3 of the players recently. Just by being like, hey, I run such and such store and so is gonna be here. Because they had a party like the night they landed somewhere. Because some former hockey player owns a bar or something. And they texted the person I know and they were like, hey, they're coming here after they land. And so he went out and got to meet a bunch of them. Deal with bike chain. Remind me in an hour. Okay, now we have a light green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by laying it down to bring in the highlights so I can see it. Actually, this goes in. Sometimes I struggle to know if the birds I'm hearing are in the song or if they're like outside my window. I don't have any purple on my palette to tone down this yellow, so we're going to use a little bit of umber. Could both be sung and outside. Yeah. Time for work. Have a good stream. Thank you. This might be too bright right here, but that's fine. We can tone it down later if I need to. I'm also making it wider than it needs to be. Because what I'm mostly trying to do is just soften it a little bit so it overlaps this tree a little bit. Happy Mushroom Day. It is Mushroom Day. Gextronaut says, first time getting to see Mushroom Stream. I love it. Welcome in. Good morning. I forgot to paint a part. Shoot. This needs highlight. And maybe some of this over here. There. We have a 35-month resub from D-Tran and 39 from KJ the Quiet One. Good morning. We are painting mushrooms. Well, one. There's only one mushroom in the photo. All right. Now, what I need to do is I need to cover up my colors. because they're going to dry out. I know I have some plastic around. Come here. Because I'm going to be starting here. And while I'm here, I should just do this, even though I kind of wanted to go around. And those colors are a lot more limited because we get more into the yellows and brighter greens down here, like from here down. So I should really just cover up the colors I'm not consistently using. So I didn't put these in a good order. Dang it, that's fine. Because like I'm using Golden Opens titanium white, which is the one that doesn't dry as fast as this one. So this doesn't really need covered because I will go through what I've put on the palette by the time I need more. It won't dry out on me, but the other ones are all regular golden. So my plan is to use the burnt umber, which is my dark color, in some of the titanium white and start to bring in all of the brown colors. And then we'll start to bring in greens later. The brown already kind of has a skin to it. Cool. I let it dry too much. And then when I mix it up and notice that this is too warm, you are orange. You're too warm. Maybe a little bit of this Hooker's green will help bring that saturation down just a little bit. It didn't. We need some blue. I still haven't found my tiny tube of Yinmin blue. Don't know where it went. Somewhere. Okay, now. I think I mixed too much glazing liquid into this though. I'm also not quite thrilled with the paintbrush choice I've made. Someone stole it. I mean, I don't think so. I think it's just small and somewhere in the move that it got moved somewhere else. It cannot be far. I also wasn't keeping it where I was keeping the rest of my paints because it's so small. What else is brown over here? My brain is desperately trying to decipher how you tied your hair up under the clip. I have too much right now to do it the way I truly want, which is a bun. So I spun it down, pulled it up. This is a French twist. And then I twist it. Shoot, I dropped it. Spin down, pull up, slide hair up, twist a little bit more, and then tuck under that. So it's just a French twist, and then I clipped it. Because it spreads the hair longer this way, up the back of my head, so the clip has less hair, but the rest of the hair is twisted up in it. That's how I do my French pin too. I just grabbed the butterfly clip today instead of the pin. All right, I need a different brush. I don't like this one. I think this is the one I was using last week, was this guy. I have an octopus clip. I think I broke it actually. I don't think I have it anymore. That was very round for buns, and that was what I did a lot. And it had like rubbery pieces under the clip part. Similarly, silky hair, my hair falls out constantly. Oh, it will if I shake my head. Like if I'm out and moving, I need to like put it in a ponytail under this first. But just sitting here and doing a little bit, I'm okay with it. I want a color. I think. Maybe not. Maybe we're good. And I do think this line needed to come up more. Just paint over it. Because we will fix it. I'm also starting to think I may need to bring in a darker brown. And there's a few ways I can go about that. I can mix in some blue because there is no blue in this, and that will darken that up. But I'm not sure I want to do that yet. I might like it without. So my plan is to just kind of keep moving with the burnt umber is my darkest color. And then at some point, if I decide that it's just not dark enough, adding some blue in and then just shading a little bit. Bobby pins, I should get some of those. Yeah, do I have any? Normally I have like 2 in here. You want the bumpy part of the bobby pin to be down towards your head. Now I'm going to move into lighter browns and start to bring in my detail. The blurry detail of this painting. Blurry detail, or bleetail, if you will. We're gonna need to bring green in probably sooner than I thought. That's fine. All right, time for some green. And I know this is probably going to look like a mess until I start to bring in the brighter greens. I'm gonna do a zoom in. Hope it's right where I'm working. Yeah. I'm sort of dry brushing this in, where there's not a whole lot of paint on the brush, and I'm just hoping to get a little bit in random spots. And I'm definitely going to need to do a darker brown. This just isn't cutting it. We have a 13-month resub from Aggregated Molecules. Good morning. Baker's Dozen. Baker's Dozen of months. I'm not liking this yet. I'm really liking right here. All right, brightest highlights sit here. A little bit there. Definitely in here. Maybe even a little bit brighter in here. That was too bright. Tone that down. All right, I've mixed up some ultramarine blue with some of my burnt umber. And we're going to see if this darkens it the way I want. A little bit. Right now it's wet, so it's hard to tell. Happy New Year. Oh, I didn't put any moss over here, of course. Now I'm going to take the same darker brown I've mixed and bring it back into a few spots. Key change. That helped a lot. I like that. Scrubbing intensifies. That's dry brushing. Okay, now I think I'm gonna work here. So we have the top half done. Stuck my hand in wet paint. My arm in wet paint. Okay. We can do this. When I did all this light stuff, I should have done these highlights, but I didn't. That's okay. We can do it now. That part is significantly yellower than some of this in here, which is more of the Jenkins. Sorry, we're using hookers, not Jenkins. Even that just helped a lot because it blended this into that a bit more. Oh, you have water. Before I start putting new colors down on my palette, or rather refreshing what I have because it's dried out a little bit, we're gonna take a little stretch break. I'm really happy with how this is starting to look though. Things are going well. My plan is to finish this part. So like I said, I have the top half done of the background. And then I think I want to block in a little bit more down here. Not necessarily have it refined like I'm getting in here, but at least a little bit of that, just so it's starting to look more complete. I got paint on my phone. Scratch that off. There we go. How's the penny table project coming along? I got a bunch of pennies I need to send you, but I'm waiting on something else before I send it to you. I haven't started. I took all the pennies that I have and I just laid them on the table so I could see if I liked it. Purple Bike Friend has a 3D printer and he printed me a jig. And my original plan had been to get mosaic mesh, which is the stuff you put like mosaic tiles on, and then stick that to the table. And then I thought, why? I can just use his little template that he printed and trace each circle onto the table. And then I can take the penny, put some of the tile glue on it, and then stick it where it belongs. And I was like, then I don't have to buy the mesh. So that seemed preferable to me. But I have plenty of stuff to do before I get to that point even. And the first template he printed me, he's like, it turned out okay. It kind of, he's like, the thing that it printed was, he's like, I don't know about the file you sent me. It seems weird. He said, because it kept jumping around on the table. And he's like, so like parts of it aren't great.
1/2 of your energy.
Thank you, I needed some Starkos. So after he printed it, he sent me a picture of it, and I was like, cool, does it fit a penny? And he's like, I don't know if I have one. And he's like, wait, I found 2. And he's like, it doesn't. And I was like, cool. And he's like, I'll get to it. And I'm like, that's fine. There's a lot to do before I get to that point. Because I need to put some ballast in the legs to keep them heavier. Because once I put all the pennies on it, the top will be heavy too, and it'll just kind of be heavy everywhere. And it'll give the table weight, which is good, but I need more weight in the legs. So I'm going to fill the legs, which are hollow, with, I don't know, metal BBs, sand, something. And then I want to cut, let's pretend this is the leg. This is the leg, right? Because then it comes up and then it curves and then it comes down on the other side. Where this hits the wall, like if this is the wall and then this is the floor, there's quarter round and other trim. But the quarter round is the part that's the problem. So I want to cut just this little bit of a corner out of the leg so that I can get a little closer to the wall, just a little bit. So I need to do that. I need to put some weight into the legs, and then where it connects to the top piece doesn't quite meet in a smooth way. So I need to use some wood filler and like fill that gap and then sand the whole thing smooth. And then it's penny time. Are the pennies gonna stick out or be sealed in? It's going to be like tile, like backsplash tile or like floor tile. If you look up penny tile, like you'll find probably some penny projects, but also they make tiles that are that size. Why not just trim the quarter round? Because I want to be able to move the table. I hope you get progress pics. I mean, maybe we'll do a stream where I'm just gluing pennies onto a table. Fishing sinkers? Yeah, something like that. Something that's weighted just a little bit. I'll probably price out what's cheapest. I'm worried about sand being damp, even if I like put it on a baking sheet in the oven for a bit, just to make sure there's no moisture in it. And then anyway, we'll glue all the pennies down, and then we're gonna use black grout to go in between the pennies. I was gonna say concrete, but that also runs into the moisture problem. Yeah. I mean, once it cures and all the moisture's gone, it would be fine. But first it has to be wet. But I need to do the weight first, because whatever I do to get into the hollow of the leg, I'll have to seal and patch that hole. You can't just pour the concrete in. Well, I have to drill in to it to get to that void. The other thing I want to do is where the pieces come together for the tabletop and the table leg is just like 3 screws right now. So I want to undo that, drill some holes for like wooden dowels, and then wood glue those dowels in, put it back together with wood glue on that joint. So there's a bit more strength there to support the weight. Have we seen this table? I can put a picture in mod. I just took a picture of it the other day. Discord. Mod. There's also a picture of the template that was first printed. We have 300 bits from Aggregated Molecules that says, take a Starcoast break. Did you know alpaca farmers have to make all their holding pens rectangular? Otherwise they risk creating an alpaca ellipse. So there's the table, and I've put pennies on it. So you see how it curves up? The joint right where the pennies start needs some support. And there's the jig. You can see up here how it got a little messed up with the printing. Neither of us made that file. I found it, and I think that's why the pennies didn't fit. I love the shape of the table. It was not quality, but I'm gonna make it stronger. I'm gonna make it heavier so it's sturdier, and then we're gonna put pennies on it, and then we'll grout it. I thought it was a bench. It does look like a bench. It's a bit taller. I think it'll be fine once it's done. So I want to do all of the top, all the way down floor to floor on that curve. I want to do the face and pennies, and then I want to do the inside of the legs at least up to where it curves, and then you can't see the bottom. Because the bottom of the actual table surface, like here, is hollow. There's like, you can see into the void there. Unlike the legs where they've like finished it. That and the glue will weigh it down, yeah. And like, because of how most of the penny weight will be on the legs, maybe I don't even need to fill that space. Am I gonna put epoxy over the top? No, because of the curve. I can't keep the epoxy consistent across the entire thing. So we're just going to put the grout on and then leave it raw penny and then the grout in between. I don't think I need to seal the epoxy over it because it has a patina with the pennies already. Hopefully the pennies I send will make a nice dent. I did some very rough math. I figured out how many pennies I needed for a square foot and then tried to figure out the square footage of the table because I have all the measurements. And the math I got was like $100 of pennies. So like 10,000 pennies. Why black grout? Yeah, Zelda Master is right. Good contrast with the bronze pennies. I think it will look nice. And then I found someone who did use black grout with pennies and I liked the look of it. I was gonna say a polish, but you want the natural look of the pennies. Maybe a polish wouldn't be a good idea. I will clean them up a little bit because some of them have like stuff stuck to them. I'm not gonna do like a super deep clean and make them all shiny copper. I like some of them being darker. I like some of them being shiny. If someday they are all that dark patina, like this color, that would be fine with me. Plus pennies are dirty. Yeah, just a little bit of a clean. Probably $1 or $2 extra for spare. Yeah, the back of it is going to be the last part I work on. If I have enough pennies to do that, I'll do the back of it. Jetchet says, I think I did the math of the pennies you had in the pictures and it was 189 pennies. So almost $2 in pennies. You could put them on the table and give them a light polish. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to like do a little pre-cleaning and then the grouting, when you clean grout, it kind of probably takes some of the patina off some of them. And I plan to do it random. I don't plan to sit there and make a pattern or put them all heads up and turn them just so. I'm going to leave it random because that's less stress on me. And I kind of like it being random. The photos I was seeing of someone who grouted black with the pennies, they did it random and I think it looked really nice. And right now, how I have them sitting on the table, the $2 of pennies on the table, I like the randomness of it. What I was really hoping to find was just like someone who's making penny blanks out of like a copper or a copper alloy for penny press machines. And no one makes them. Sorted by year. We also have a 39-month resub from Andrew in the kitchen. Good morning. Ouch. The 2026 pennies will go crazy. Oh. And Dream says, oh no, I just realized those theme park penny press things will be obsolete. I used to love those. There's a subreddit dedicated to them because, of course there is. And I was looking at them to see what those people were saying about what they were going to do going forward. And the answer was like, hoarding pennies. Will pennies all be Lincoln facing up or will it vary? It's going to be completely random. I am not going to put too much thought into that because if I do, then I have to for the entire thing. And if one is just a little bit off, I will be not thrilled. B. Croaky says they use blanks now. All modern penny presses use blanks. Some don't even take physical cash. I couldn't find blanks for sale. I mean, I could, but they weren't cheap. They weren't as cheap as, like, going to the bank and being like, hey, can I have some pennies? Or even someone on eBay who has a bunch of boxes of them. Like, that was cheaper than buying some of the blanks I was seeing. There really wasn't a great option. It's exclusive to the theme park industry? Maybe. We had to get penny blanks from the company that serviced it. I was not finding access to that. All right, we're going back to the painting now. It's almost like penny and copper and zinc cost more than pennies. Huh. For some reason, the government doesn't want people buying blank currency. Huh. Weird. I don't like that spot. Let's fix that. That's too light. Okay. I'm gonna do a zoom in quick just to see. So this is what I've been working on, is all of this. There should be some yellow in there. Because there is in the photo. But we're gonna leave it, and we're gonna go work over here. Okay, so I'm gonna start with umber by itself. And we will make it darker like we did before. And I think I want to bring this tree out a little bit more. Yeah. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was over here. I got distracted by working on the stuff I've already worked on. I don't know if I like where I painted this. So we're gonna paint over it. Because we can always bring more in. We have a 35-month resub from Kita. Mushroom, mushroom. We do love this mushroom. Also, this one is not right, so we're just going to paint over that too. Everything is very dark over here. I think I'm just, yeah. I don't like any of where I put stuff earlier. The mushroom itself is fine. It's just all of this background fuzzy stuff. For a while, it's gonna look like just this giant orange mushroom in the woods. Sometimes it's hard to paint the edges of the canvas, like right on that curve, because it's curved. That's looking so much better. You need a curved brush. I need something to sit there and scrape the edge of it. I moved my sketchbook because I went to sketch something that we were working on, and now I don't have it. What if we do this? Just hide some of the underpainting. This was from the last painting. I haven't cleaned it off yet. I need to let that brown dry just a minute. So we're gonna do a little bit more of this down here like I talked about earlier. My goal is to hide most of the orange down here. I made that way too thick. What am I trying to do? What is that noise? It's none of my concern.
Allow me to solve this problem by closing your door.
Thank you. Doing this right here solves a few problems. Because I wanted to essentially do this down here to hide any of the orange before we were done today. And while I'm waiting on that to dry, I think this needs to come out. Yeah. Now it's starting to look true color except the orange mushroom. There's a little bit of orange otherwise that needs to be toned down. Mostly in these like branches over here. That helped. All right, let's zoom in. Do you see the clear divide between like what is done and what isn't? It's kind of like doing a second underpainting. So I'm sure I'm going to bring other stuff back in here at some point, maybe darken some of these areas yet. But like this background is done. This one needs a little bit more to match this. And then this down here is real rough. But it makes it feel more done, and that makes my brain feel like I've made progress. I do want to finish up here yet because there's not that much more for that part yet. But before I do that, what time is it? 1. I'm not done yet. We're gonna finish that. We're gonna finish this part up here. But I'm going to take a very short break, and Steven's going to sit here for a minute. Hi.
Hi, you need to go?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm careful. Hi. It's I'm here. What was? Oh God, there's a whole thing under here. What was that noise? That was like an engine sound. Like when an engine roars. An engine. It's for engines. I'm doing something. I'm trying a thing that like I know how to do in theory. I've just never done. So I'm like, I want to try this thing because it would be cool. So sometimes like you know how to do, you know theoretically how to do a thing. Like you've never done it, but you're like, I know how to do that. So then when you decide to do it, you're like, all right, let's figure this out. So did not have anything to do with an actual engine. There's things like that where like you know how to do it. Just because you've never done it doesn't mean you don't know how it works. It might be outside of your field. It might be inside of your field. And there's this thing that you're like, I know how that works. I just have to like do it. Oh no, sure, I theoretically know how heart surgery works. That's probably a little extreme because I don't know how heart surgery works. That's pretty. That's a lot. Jose says, I theoretically know how to fly a plane. That's... Yeah. Like in a pinch. I know, I understand this. But when it comes time to land, that's going to be bad. That's not going to be good.
Hi.
Oh, we were having a good conversation.
About?
I don't know. All right, well.
See ya.
I have to leave soon.
Yeah.
But I have time to rev my engine just a little bit more. I'm working on a thing. When you see it, you'll be like, oh, that's really cool. And I'll be like, yeah, I know.
I'm glad I stepped away for a second. I had to go to the bathroom. But this tree down here, do we see this? That guy? That is this tree. Maybe. But it's not lined up. And it's like... Steven thinks he could fly a plane. I don't think he could land a plane. So, chalk fest up. What tree is that? It's not lined up in the photo either. Are you sure it's the same tree? No, it's so blurry. But like, where does it go though? Visually. I have to make that decision. Also, I need to bring some brightness in back here. Yeah, we'll need to bring some yellow in there. What do I want to do with it? Because my options are... And like, maybe it's this tree. And maybe it's just a piece of this log. Because right now, visually, it just looks very strange. And I'm not sure what to do about it. Let's leave it. All right, we have all the colors we need? Yeah. Will there be a little gnome in the painting? There will not. Maybe come back next time with fresh eyes. To this guy, yeah, we're gonna leave him alone. That's just gonna stay there. We will deal with it later. The other thing I think I need to do that would help right here is start to bring in that darker brown color. We have an 18-month resub from Rock. Hello, good morning. Or afternoon. Now, time to start bringing in this detail. So I just have to kind of work backwards. So there's a little bit of highlight here. There's like a stick there. Stick here. Some moss sits here. And the thing is, this will start to jump out as I bring in the other colors. Garage Goldberg. Taking the new engine out for a spin? Not new. It's still the good old Subaru. Oop, I forgot to put that part right there. Tree trunk just ends. Whoops. Let's finish that. Whoops. Now I think I need to bring in the darker part and then the green for the moss over there. And if I feel like at some point I could go even darker with this, I can, because I can just mix in some black or more blue. There's a lot of just scrubbing color in. Now it's time to do the same thing with green. So we're going to start with a little bit of Hooker's green. Some there. Put some in there. Then we'll just keep mixing it a little bit lighter. Maybe throw a little bit of red in because it's just a smidge too green. I am losing one of these little vines that I had in here. think I made it too saturated. Dang it. I mixed the color and I was like, this is pretty. And then I put it on the canvas and I was like, it's too bright. It's too green. Like that was way too bright. We needed to be less bright. Time for a round brush because we're going to be painting the bokeh. I don't like this one. There's a little bit yet with the brown of the trees I don't love. And that's okay. We'll get there. Like in here. I'm just not finding any brush I really love right now. And I feel like that happened last week when I was doing this. Everything was just not right. Let's try this one. Better. Apparently it's lawn care hours in the neighborhood. All right, I think there needs to be a little bit of touch up with the dark brown. So we're just going to mix that up. There's something I don't love about this vine yet. I haven't figured it out. But when we do, we'll be there. But otherwise, I think it's looking good. What if I take a little bit of this blue and darken some of this area? I think part of the vine's problem is that it's too bright in some areas. And the problem is I'm out of the brown. Shoot. Don't fall over. Accidentally somehow got white paint on the brush. How? All right, I think we're at a fresh eyes situation. I want to hold up that palette again to hide the bottom part of the canvas, the part that's not done yet. This is the brush I've been using. That's going to stay there for a week. Okay, so this top half is basically set. We got a little bit to go probably to make me happy with it, but it's looking really nice, and fresh eyes will definitely help because I'm not thrilled with some of this in here and the way this is, this branch. But the colors are looking good. I like the moss in there, and I'm liking the bokeh with this. So that part is all good, and I'm liking that. I'm glad we did a little bit more blocking in down here because now it's looking more like true color complete, even though it's not. It's just really roughly blocked in right now. And we have an orange mushroom that will magically become blue when we get there. But good progress. I'm excited to show it to the person who took the photo. Let me clean my hands so I can grab the sapling piece. I'm thinking 2 more streams. We'll do like the mid foreground stuff, and then we'll have the mushroom, and that'll be 2 streams. Maybe 3, just to do any final stuff, because I want to bring a little bit of yellow back into here to kind of marry this together, because there is some yellow throughout in here. Short for paint compared to the sapling piece. The sapling piece was extremely long. It was also large. I probably should have done it on a smaller canvas. But I'm really happy with the sapling piece. Sometimes you paint something and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. It looks good. You surprise yourself. And I do love that. The painting is varnished, which is why I want to make sure I get every trace of paint off my hands right now. At least hit transfer. Speaking of the sapling painting, there's the link for the auction if you're interested in bidding on it. All right, let me grab that. All right, this piece is up for auction right now. They kind of go together a little bit. So it's really shiny, so you're gonna get a glare on this no matter what with how I have these lights. But this piece is up for auction now, and if you're interested in owning the actual canvas, you can bid on it. You can actually see some of the brush marks when the glare catches it right. None of you probably have studio lights in your house, so you will not have a problem with the glare. It's real, despite what eBay thinks. All right, let's do that, and we'll talk about the things that are coming up. Tonight on Steven's channel, we're going to be playing more Hitman. Just my bedroom / photo studio meaning nothing. Do you have trouble with glare in there, Vagabond? There will be no streams this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. Steven's parents are going to be visiting us, and we're really excited because they haven't seen this house yet. Monday night we'll be back to Yote because we're slating in the house because they'll be gone by then. So I will be streaming Ghost of Yote Monday night. And I know we have like 3 more to take out, 4 more. But like the skill tree's getting done, so we're starting to get to the end of it. Tuesday will be breakfast stream. And everything from there is basically normal. If there's lightning in the house, you should build a roof. Alright, I hope you all have a good rest of your Friday. Oh, Thursday Star Fox, that's right. Steven's doing a stream Thursday for Star Fox. Chaz, what time is that? It might be on the calendar. 1 p.m. Thursday, 1 p.m. is Star Fox. Eastern. Oh good, we can still do movie night. Shelf control next Saturday? It's like the 27th? Yeah, next Saturday. 8 days from now is shelf control. Alright everyone, I hope you have a good rest of your Friday. How is Cowboy Bebop? We haven't started it. We're watching movies. We watched a documentary yesterday. Have a good Friday, and we will see you tonight for Hitman. Also, it's great because they're still mowing the lawn outside.